Good afternoon and welcome to the Victoria.
Digital editor doing digital things right now.
And behind the camera is Meredith Cash.
So we have a low connection?
It'll still record.
It's still recording.
Okay.
We're a little late today because we had our weekly 10-day planning and it went a little long, but we're still here like we are every day. Before we get started, I have a couple of trivia questions for you. I'll just, in case y'all want to know, Chris is at a meeting in Longview and Tony is in Columbia, Missouri at a training session. So I think today's the last day of the training. He'll be back next week. Okay, trivia. What is a clepsydra? C-L-E-P-S-Y-D-R-A. Here's a hint. It's something that was created and used by ancient societies.
It's a farming system that allows the water to drip down those the way they have the farm set up, you know.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Clepsydra. Okay. Your guess?
No, how did he even come up with that?
The dra sometimes is referring to water.
Wow.
I would guess it's a way to grind your grains. I don't know. I have no idea.
I have no earthly idea.
This is the day you're testing my ability to pronounce words.
Oh dear.
And I should know how to pronounce this, but I don't. Eid al-Fitr is an annual Muslim festival that marks the end of what? And we just talked about that during our
I know. I saw that.
If you were paying attention.
Marks the end of Ramadan.
Yeah.
That would be my guess too.
That would be a good guess. That would be a good guess. An excellent guess. So y'all think about that first one and the second one and we'll come back to it. So for tomorrow's paper, we have the long-awaited trash dumping story. This is a story about the increase of trash being dumped on the city's roads, county roads, along the river, and how it's illegal and it's unsightly and how people have to, it costs extra for people to have to go out and pick it up. So we have photos, we have story, we have a breakout, so it's ready to go. We have a quirky story but a fun story. Apparently since 1919 there's been a windmill blade in a tree in Rockport, Fulton area. And it came to our attention this week because a man whose property it's on, his insurance company was making get rid of it. And then apparently a lot of people in Rockport were in an uproar and the insurance company said, oh, we didn't realize the historical value of this blade, so you have to keep it. So it's a fun story on this windmill blade that's been in a tree for 100 years. And
was it the tree already full grown when the blade came in?
I don't know. So
that's really
Well, only because it makes me think of that piece of the tree that's in that wire right there.
Yeah.
It grew in there and they couldn't get it out. So I'm wondering if it's something like that.
Yeah.
So we have contributed photos. So it should be a fun read.
That's an old tree though.
Mm-hmm. 100 years. The tree's at least 100 years old. So pretty cool. So we're holding the second one for the business report. And then speaking of hurricanes, we had an update today. Jessica listened to a news conference from the Weather Service about the hurricane season activity. El Nino dissipating could boost Atlantic hurricane activity. Historically, 95% of hurricanes form between August and October. So, what are our emergency planners doing here? So that's the focus of the story. Hopefully they will skip over us this year, the hurricanes.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yes, please.
But they increased the forecast, so
They did.
Mm-hmm.
that's what Jessica said.
She
So.
didn't have it on. I hope it doesn't increase too much.
They're
2 to
still
4.
expecting 12 to 15 more named storms.
2 to 4
Major.
Major.
Well, looking at the weather map on TV Weather last night, there's a lot of activity out there, but there's nothing expected to form right now.
I didn't know one fact that she told me. I guess I just never realized it. That most of the hurricanes happen in August and September. 95%, I think, this year.
Mm-hmm. 90.
So that's crazy.
Well, that's when the water is the hottest, and then starting in October, the cold fronts start coming in and cooling off the water. If we can make it through September without a serious hurricane, we're pretty good. Early October, probably still a little iffy. Yeah, I just don't want a hurricane. Do you know what Master Gardeners are writing about?
A new Texas Superstar plant, the butterfly ivy.
Ooh, that's pretty. Is it?
It's really cool. The seed pods, they turn from like tan and then they go like to a brown, but they resemble they're in the shape of a butterfly. It's really cool looking.
I love ivy. I can grow ivy.
Yeah, me too.
Cool.
Not the only ivy and hibiscus.
Oh, I can't even grow hibiscus. I kill. I had an ivy offshoot that I was trying to get to grow, and I had it planted. Grew all the long roots, and I planted it. And all it would ever bloom or grow was 3 leaves. And so I repotted it and put it in the kitchen window, and now it has like 6 or 7 leaves on it. So I guess the dirt wasn't good enough for it, or the sunlight wasn't enough, or whatever.
I have an ivy from my dad's funeral. I had it outside sitting on a table. Well, one of the shoots took off on the ground, and it's started growing up the door facing of the cabin,
Oh, cool.
and the leaves are bigger than my head.
I believe it, yeah.
Because Robbie said the higher they grow, the bigger the leaves will get. I never do that.
I took a lot of years ago. We had this old galvanized wash tub in the backyard, so I took all my ivies and planted them there. It was really pretty until the dogs went in there and dug them all up. But they were doing what you just described. They were going out into the grass and up the fence.
Huge.
Yeah, they were beautiful.
I never knew that.
But then the dogs decided to play.
Dogs will be dogs.
Exactly. Okay. Sports. We have Yoakum football practice. Mike is going to Yoakum football. We have the preseasons Texas versus Packers at 7 o'clock tonight.
Broncos versus Seahawks.
Uh-oh.
Also tonight.
Are you watching that one tonight? What time is it? 7?
I don't get the TV feed for that one.
Okay. When do you buy your football package?
When regular season comes.
Okay. Anything else from anybody? Do you have anything for the state or national?
Yeah, there's a couple interesting stories. Canadian police found 2 bodies who they believe were the 2 kids or the 2 young men who killed an American, her Australian boyfriend, and a professor in separate incidents. They have to do autopsies, but they're fairly confident that it's them. Mayors urge Senate to return to Washington for gun bill vote. So that's still ongoing from these 2 latest shootings. I thought the interesting was the whole Puerto Rico governor situation. They've had 3 governors this week, and they're considering a 4th. Keep getting overturned.
Wow.
Yeah. The number of U.S. migrants awaiting at U.S. borders surges to 40,000. That's a large number. If you're in the house buying mode, U.S. long-term mortgage rates fall sharply. 30-year rates are at 3.6%.
Be a good time to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Our favorite forest fire prevention icon, Smokey the Bear, turned 75 this year.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
So you were born right before he was. Just kidding. And there's other headlines.
She finds that Timothy Hope came into her room and he won't leave. She left and went to
4 dead, 2 wounded in Southern California stabbings.
Stabbings.
Yeah. And I thought this was an interesting story. It's been talked about a lot, but Joe Biden says Trump is fanning the flames of white supremacy. Of course, that's been talked about a lot right now, especially with the El Paso shooting spree.
He was running earlier this week. Careful.
And that's about it, I guess.
Here's a couple on the state wire. Willie Nelson's canceled his tour, which was scheduled to end November 29th in Oklahoma because the 86-year-old entertainer has a breathing problem. So
Hasn't he had some issues
I think he has had
in
some health
the
issues.
last few years?
Yeah. He was on Jimmy Fallon about a month or so ago. He was breathing kind of heavy then, so but he was still able to sing. He's wanting attention somewhere.
I think he wants to go out one of the doors, probably.
He
Too
got
bad.
back from supper last night. He was heading straight for the door. And I was like, no. He wants to go wander. And there's one more I saw here. A brothel sting. Prosecutors say the owner of 2 Dallas brothels has pleaded guilty to charges related to the 2018 law enforcement sting that included plans to provide 20 women for sex at a cost of $2,000 each. It's ridiculous. And federal officials have ended greater oversight of a Houston hospital that began following a patient death in this heart transplant program. Okay. Okay, before we call it good for the day, here is our trivia questions again. What is a clepsydra? CLEPSYDRA. Hint, it's something that was created and used by ancient societies. You say it has a water, it's a watering system. And I say it's a grinder of some sort. Oh, Tom, you're just a dog. A water clock. Water flows into or out of a container at a steady rate. And a glance at the water line reveals how much time has passed. So you're on the right track. Though very rare nowadays, they were handy in ancient times, particularly at night when the sundials were no longer useful. That's interesting. Okay, and then the second one, Eid al-Fitr is an annual Muslim festival that marks the end of what?
Ramadan.
And Meredith said Ramadan, you said?
I agree.
Yeah, it's Ramadan. Ramadan and the fasting that takes place during the month of Ramadan. So, interesting trivia questions today. So with that, we will sign off, and we'll be back here tomorrow afternoon at 1:15. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or contact Tom, whichever you want to do. In the meantime, have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow.